release here in terms of the UFO files from the Trump administration. You can see the mystery orb or object here in the frame. A bunch of these are shots of things that they never figured out, so to speak, and a lot of them are just like little shots like that. But this one right here is rather interesting. The shape, the detail, everything about it, you can just look at it, looks pretty wild here. Doesn't look like the normal UFO. You can see a flash or something happening in the center there, and it's leaving maybe a heat signature as it's floating around. This has got to be the wildest looking one that I've seen thus far. Now, they say they're going to start releasing this stuff in batches. So like every other week or so, there's going to be more information. You've got Tim Burchett saying that this right here is just the beginning. It's pretty much a drop in the bucket, that the holy crap part is still to come. So they're doing a slow rollout of disclosure, if you will, right now in front of everyone's face. This is the very beginning, as they're putting it, the very first phase. It's going to ramp up from here. So somewhere along the lines, we're going to see some pretty wild stuff. Now, remember, all these pastors were just pulled in and they were briefed and told all this stuff about what is about to happen. And some may spin this the way the government wants. Others are obviously not. I watched an interview last night of a guy that was in that meeting, and he believes in Jesus, believes in God. He believes that this whole thing is going to be turned to try to take away from that and try to discredit Jesus in all of that. And he's saying this is where people are going to have to stand strong in their faith. And I put a separate video out on the end time deception, the stage set for this announcement. I will say though, one of the most interesting things that they told the pastors, and that this other guy said in the interview as well, it's come out of most of them's mouth, is that they confirmed lizard-looking entities. They were told this by these higher-up agents that deal with the government, that yes, indeed, lizard-looking creatures are involved. So make of it what you will. This is what they're saying right now, right at the gate, telling you everything with the fallen. They've been here the entire time, and it looks like big moves are about to go down. Don't forget, Steven Spielberg's about to drop this movie. What's it going to be like? Are they going to have tears sitting in the freaking audience in theaters across America, like staring at people? Like, is it going to be one of these eerie moments? Because the timing, I mean, it's crazy. And you got to think that Spielberg's going to have something tied into this. I'll continue to update as I get more, but this is the first batch. Join me for Underground World News Live Monday.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in the gospel, brother, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. It says, lizard-like creatures, Trump administration. Hold on. Salakia. Come on, man. I'm trying to get the damn fucking... I can't get it. It's not... Oh, okay. It says Trump administration drops first batch of USO files. Disclosure deception by pastors. This is a movie coming out by Steven Spielberg called Disclosure Day. Which is... I think it comes out next month. But it says Disclosure Day. And what's so wild though, when you go into the book of Ezekiel and you see this eye in the heavens, the Lord said that the Lord's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So what are the chances that this movie Disclosure Day is coming out, I believe, in another month or so? And then, you know, they're talking about releasing these UFO files, which they technically have been so-called declassifying these UFO files since 2021. But the angels are not lizard creatures. And this is where the devil gets his deception, because see, those of us that's in the know that the angels look like they can look like ordinary men, or they can come in the form of different creatures. They can look like, you know, like we've saw pictures of angels. They got the garments on, they got the wings, they got the fro, the beard. You know, they look like Israelite men. All right, angelic beings. But this devil would tell you or how you to believe that, oh yeah, the angels are lizard-like alien creatures, man, when that's not the truth. So this devil, man, he's full of deception and lies, and Yahweh Shai is really exposing his ass for what it is. But when you read the comments, it says lizard people. The angels are not lizard people. All right, but this is what Esau would want you to believe, because, you know, because he's the devil. Okay, so let's see what the scriptures say about so-called lizard people, right? The angels, which are not lizard people. But let's go to the book of 2 Kings 6, and let's start at verses 13. Matter of fact, let's start at verses 13, and it says, therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed about the city. And when a servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered and said, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. So you got to understand, when they was coming to take the city, they had a host, and a host goes into just like a company of men. Okay, whether it's in the hundreds or thousands, that's considered a host. But the heavenly host is innumerable. So think about it. In a time when Esau is getting ready to release his forces on us, let's just say if you got 100 troops that surround your crib with MRAPs and tanks and machine guns and whatever it may be, and Black Hawk helicopters. Remember, the angels out mitigate the earthly forces 10-1. So we are never truly alone, brothers. But anyway, it says here, and he answered, fear not, for they be with us more than they be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha, going into the angels, man. Okay, and it says, and when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto Yahweh and said, smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha, man. All right, so we got power on our side regardless. But see, Esau, he will have you to think that there's nothing, or it's just, you know, we're outnumbered. Or he'll have you to think that his technology is superior to Yahweh Shai. All right, but this devil gonna say some more. Matter of fact, what is this? Joseph, Judges. Let's go here. Yep, so let's go to the book of Judges 13. And let's start at verses 8. It says, then Manoah entreated of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, and said, O my Lord, let the man of the Most High, which thou sent, come to us again, and teaches us what we should do unto the child that should be born. It says the man of the Most High, that was an angel. But angels could come to you looking like men. All right, we're angels. Matter of fact, let's start up. Verses 6, and it says, and a woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of the Most High came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of the Most High, very terrible. All right, but she called him a man. Okay, it says, but I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me this name. But he said unto me, behold, it says, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink. This is going into Samson. Neither eat any unclean thing. It says, for the child should be a Nazarite to Yahweh, or Nazarite to God, from the womb of the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated of the Lord, and said, O my Lord, let a man of the Most High, which thou didst send, come again unto us, and teach us what we should do unto the child that should be born. Okay, so it says a man of the Most High. So angels could look like men, not aliens. And it says, And the Most High hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and an angel of the Most High came again, and the woman, as she sat in the field, but Manoah, her husband, was not with her. And a woman made haste and ran and showed her husband and said unto him, Behold, the man have appeared unto me and came unto me the other day. Okay, so that's the point. It says a man. Now you look up the word man, okay, which means ayash in Hebrew, right? Let's see. Yep, ayash. A male, human being, person in contrast to the Most High, servant, mankind, a great man, whosoever, husband. All right, but it described him as being a man. So this is nothing but lies and deception, and Esau knows what's up, man. He had books on it. Okay, you got accounts of these so-called NASA men that work for these agencies claiming that the angels were damn near 8-9 foot tall black men. There was one story called the Supernatural, if I'm not mistaken. I think she was like an Israelite lady. She said that the men that drove those UFOs, so-called UFOs, which those are the chariots of the Heavenly Father, they were men of color. Afros, beards, shortcut Caesars with beards. You know? So just if you're looking at the average Negro, Latino, and Native American, the angels can, if we come in the same, they come in a different likeness than us because they have glory and we're in a lower state, but we're modeled after Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. You know, with the beards, the afros, the braids, you know, with the cuts, whatever you want to call it. We're modeled after the image of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai because, in fact, the angels are, you know, they're of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right? So let's go from here to the book of Ezekiel, the first chapter. And we're getting in the New Living Testament because Esau had you believe that the angels look like just straight, they look like some Marv the Martian type shit. Matter of fact, let's do this. Go bingo here. Oh, shit. Let's just type in aliens. See? The UFO file. You got to understand that the UFO files, like a lot of those scientists came up missing because of what they discovered. But see, this is Esau's way of mocking us and mocking the Heavenly Father's creation. And this is why the Lord is going to destroy this devil, man. The angels don't look like this. This is some sci-fi shit. He's basically trying to say the niggas are aliens, man. Esau know what they look like. Aliens are black men. Like there's a something on Amazon Prime called UFOs and Blacks. I didn't watch the whole documentary because it started out kind of weird, but they basically show how Jake have these so-called connections to these ships, man. Why is that? Because they know that the men of the Heavenly Father are men of color. Peep this. NASA scientists say he saw 7 foot tall aliens in their tall World Star Hip Hop. Said they're black and look like African Americans. Now in the interview he didn't say that in that exact image, but we get to where he was coming from. It says NASA scientists said he saw 7 foot tall aliens in their tall, black, and look like African Americans. Scriptures back that up. So Esau's full of shit, man, with his dogma. NASA scientists said he saw 7 foot tall black skinned aliens look like African Americans after stepping off a mile-long ship. So the ship was a mile. So it's a common factor that the angels of the Heavenly Father look like Israelites. That's why these devils are so afraid, man, because they know they done fucked up. It's the book of Ezekiel 1, and I'm going to start at verses 5. It says here, from the center of the cloud came 4 living beings that look human. It says here, that look human, except that each had 4 faces and 4 wings. Okay, going into the attributes of these angels. It says their legs were straight and their feet had hooves like those of a calf, and shone like burnished bronze. Okay, burnished bronze means they were men of color. So when you look at this jig here, that's burnt brass right there. That's how they describe Yahweh Shai looking. And Lord's will, the next video, I get into those missing scientists, man, because Esau is covering up a lot of information. And it says here, the legs were straight and their feet had hooves like those of a calf, and shone like burnished bronze, black, under each of their four wings. And the scriptures don't lie, man. It says I could see human hands. So each of the four beings had four faces and four wings. And the wings of each living being touched the wings of the wings beside it. Each one moved straight forward it says each one moved straight forward in any direction without turning around. Yeah, that defies third dimensional sense. When you look at the way the ships move, they move like what they defy gravity. They don't have like a left, right, up and down mechanism. I mean, they can do that, but like with a vehicle, a car, you know, you got a steering wheel. That's third dimensional sense. But with a chariot, they could cut a corner going top speed. Versus if you're trying to cut a corner in the station wagon going 75 miles an hour, you'll fucking roll over because of the gravity, you know, and the way that the physics of the car is not, it's not designed to withstand that type of force. But it says each had a human face in the front, and the face of a lion on the right side, and the face of an ox on the left, which ox represents strength, and the face of an eagle at the back. And each had two pairs of outstretched wings. One pair stretched out to touch the wings of the living being on the other side of it, and the other pair covered his body, man. All right? But it mentioned that they look human. So the angels can look like men. Prime example. Go in the book of Acts when Yahweh Shai went up back to the spirit world. This is the book of Acts 1, and I'm going to start at verses 9. It says, and after this, saying this, he was taken up into a cloud while they were watching, and they could no longer see him. As they strained to see him rising into heaven, two white-robed men, which were angels, suddenly stood among them, okay, and said, men of Galilee, they say, why are you standing here standing to heaven? It says, Yahweh Shai has been taken from you into heaven, but someday he will return from heaven in the same way you saw him go. So basically, he's going to come back in what they consider an alien invasion, which, you know, you have what they call Project Bluebeam, which is when they're setting up deceptive tactics to deceive people, man. But when the real ships hit the earth, then you're going to know that Yahweh Shai is near. You're going to know he's here. Ain't going to be no question or no distinction versus some Project Bluebeam hologram nonsense. You know? One more precept is the book of Revelation 1 and 13. And it says here, and standing in the midst of the lamp was someone like the Son of Man, which is Yahweh Shai. And he was wearing a long robe with a gold sash across his chest. His head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow, which his beard and his hairs, the texture of his hair, and his eyes were like flames of fire. And his feet were like unto polished bronze, refined in a furnace, and his voice thundered like mighty ocean waves, man. So it describes the Lord as being a so-called black man. All right? So I'm going to end it. All praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.